and on ABC.
It's the first Saturday in October in Fort Worth, Texas. Autumnal hues cascading throughout the neighborhood in the shadows of the Carter boys' crib. That's the backdrop today as the Frog Alley takes you into the stadium for today's backdrop. You're watching the Big 12 Conference on ABC. Today it's the 23rd meeting all time between TCU and Oklahoma. Oklahoma coming in ranked number 18. Let's set the scene for today's game. Last week, TCU vanquishing SMU, their crosstown rivals, in a hotly contested game. The former coach defeating the present coach, Sonny Dykes. Meanwhile, Oklahoma losing at home against Kansas State. Adrian Martinez eviscerating that defense. And boy, Dillon Gabriel left shaking his head in wake of that defeat. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones. That's the backdrop. That's Robert Griffin III. Quinn Kesnick down in the field. He'll be joining us in just a few moments. Let's start with Dillon Gabriel. If they're going to get the bounce back that they desire so much here today, he's going to have to be on point, Robert.
Oh, 100%. And Gabriel comes by way of the transfer portal from UCF. Everybody knows this guy, and he throws the ball so nice, has such a great release. You would think he was a saint. What he's done an amazing job of is he got 11 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He knows how to let that dog hunt, and he's going to have to do that today for them to be successful.
Boy, Max Duggan started the season as QB. He's number 1 in big print.
Yes, he is. Max Duggan, 3-year starter. But he didn't blink when he wasn't named the starter this year. He just kept going. When Chandler Morris got injured, he stepped in. He's maximized his opportunities. He leads the Big 12 in passing efficiency, and the team is rallying around him.
And Coach Sonny Dykes said that if they're going to be successful today, his quarterback is going to have to be on his game. He was one of the first ones he had a conversation with pregame.
Fun today, brother. Yes, hey, isn't this great?
Yes, sir.
Isn't this fun? Proud of you, man. Have a good time today, okay?
Do what? Those are some good-looking uniforms.
Brady, have fun, brother. Get after him today. Hey, let's dominate up front, okay?
Yes, sir.
Let's get after him, okay? Have fun today. Now listen to me. Don't try to do too much, okay? Just do your job and stay cool. All right, me and you, we're going to stay cool together, okay? All right, let's have some fun, all right? Mari, great ball security today, okay? Do a great job taking care of that ball. Have fun playing, man. You've earned this opportunity to go do this now, okay? Have fun today, all right?
Have fun, stay cool, and maybe it adds up to ending that losing streak. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome back, everyone, to college football presented by Arby's. Yes, they have the meat. You just want to make sure that you're not the one getting cooked today in this battle between Oklahoma and TCU. Oklahoma winning the toss, electing to receive. And we've got a couple of big-time receivers in this football game this afternoon. Oklahoma will have a hold of the football first. That means that guy is going to get the reins of the offense. Dillon Gabriel threw 4 touchdowns last week, albeit in that loss against Kansas State. 330 yards. Let's see how they bounce back this afternoon. And we are underway. Billy Bowman Jr. on the return and out to the 27-yard line. Quinn, what about those big-time receivers?
Well, you got a bunch of Sunday receivers hoping to put some money on tape today, and it starts with Oklahoma's Marvin Mims. They call him Marvelous. What separates him is his body control. This guy's got the ability, while running full speed, to track the deep ball. He's also a threat on punt returns. Q, well, that stands for quality, and that's Quentin Johnson. He's 6'4" and runs like the wind. He torched the Sooners in 2021. Sonny Dykes telling us, think players, not plays. They hope to feed him. He's got the body type of the quintessential NFL outside receiver.
Yeah, really looks the part. We'll wait to see him on offense. Right now, it's Oklahoma. First down and 10 from their own 27-yard line. Sooners with one of the more prolific offenses in the country. They're going to run it. And a nice hole on the left side. First down by Eric Gray. Brought down by Johnny Hodges. A 12-yard gain on the play. Brent Venables, first-year head coach. Former player collegiately at Kansas State. Taken over from Coach Stoops, the guy that recruited him back in the day. Electing to take the ball first offensively. This is going to be Gray. This time brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Good tackle by Abe Kamara. Robert, do you make anything out of the fact that Oklahoma and Venables won the toss and took the football first?
Yeah, I think they're trying to make a statement coming out here saying that he told us during the week that you learn a lot about your football team when you lose.
Fumble after the catch. Recovered TCU. Let's see if they call it a catch or not. It was intended for Mims. It's going to be Horned Frog football. Kamara jarred it loose and caused the fumble. It was recovered by D. Winters.
We're just talking about how it might be a good idea to take the ball first, but if you turn it over right here on this fumble, you see it gets popped out right there.
A catch and a fumble. The defender recovered the ball with his knee on the ground. It's first down TCU.
Yeah, there's another look. Ball coming out after the catch.
D. Winters is Johnny on the spot.
The field of a catch and a fumble is under further review.
And of course, they're going to take another look at this and review. Remember, it must be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. We'll get the adjudication on the other side of this. Field stands, and here's another look.
Yeah, you're going to see him catch the ball, make a football move. The ball gets popped out, and then D. Winters is Johnny on the spot to get the recovery. And you talk about a team that took the ball first off of the coin toss because they haven't had that. They've only had one turnover up until that point all year.
Duggan, little receiver screen complete to Williams. Savion Williams with his 8th reception of the season.
Conventional wisdom would tell you as a coach to kick the ball if you win the toss. And right there you see Oklahoma is now behind the sticks because they turned it over on that first possession.
Good starting field position on the opening drive for TCU. This is going to be Kendre Miller. Broke one tackle, another one, and got stopped short of the first down at about the 39-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about a long 4 to go. Max Duggan, the starting quarterback, did not begin the season as QB1, but after an injury to the starter, he started the last 2, completes this pass for the first down to the outside. That's Darius Davis, the slot receiver, to move the chains.
And as you've already seen, TCU's already spreading the ball around to multiple guys. Kendre Miller's an NFL-type back, in my opinion, but they're going to run fast-paced offense, try to keep Oklahoma from getting into some of their sub-packages that they like to run with Brent Venables.
Max Duggan leading the nation, FBS in passing efficiency coming in. Plenty of time, taking a shot deep. Davis, coverage, flag. That's going to be pass interference. He was working against Damon Harmon. Darius Davis, their leading receiver, coming in.
Number 17, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
As you said, Darius Davis is their leading receiver, and I would hold him too if I couldn't cover him out there. That is the definition of pass interference. Not only does he not get his eyes back, but he tackles him before the ball even gets there. He was riding double D all the way into the end zone on that one.
That was an easy call for the officials. Davis had an 80-yard touchdown catch last week in their win against SMU. 1st and 10 from the 19. Duggan puts it up. Jump ball. Caught. Touchdown, Williams. He was just too little.
Jaden Davis last year for Oklahoma had a nightmare of a game going up against Quentin Johnston. And right there, Savion Williams said, oh, I get mine too. Right here, he tracks the ball, makes the play. Great throw there by Max Duggan. But Savion Williams, his name sounds like a fine wine. Yeah. That touchdown was fine too.
No doubt. Vintage Williams. That was his 2nd touchdown catch of the season and of his career. Duggan continues with the hot hand, his 9th touchdown pass this season. TCU with a 7-0 lead.
restructured. College football on ABC is presented by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
An incandescent Saturday afternoon here, the first Saturday in October. Hey, aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven.
Hey, man, I'm trying to get my family to go up on that blimp there with Goodyear. That'd be a sweet attraction there.
My family too, can I come?
Come on, man. There's more than enough room.
Hey, from any angle, that touchdown pass and catch looked immaculate for TCU, who lead 7-0. Just underway here in Fort Worth. Conference opener for the Horned Frogs against Oklahoma, trying to bounce back. This is Bowman Jr. cutting to his left and chopped down. There's a flag down at the 24-yard line. Bowman down at the 25, and he's slow to get up as well. Bowman limping a little bit on that right leg. Tuta Salam, our referee, wearing the white cap today.
During the return, holding number 22 receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Oklahoma.
Let's check into the studio.
Mark, good afternoon. Time now for our AT&T 5G studio update. Kevin Nagani, Booger McFarland to Little Manhattan a week after knocking off Oklahoma. Here's Adrian Martinez, Boog.
Yeah, continue what he did last week, using his athleticism, getting the ball in the end zone.
Number 25, Kansas State on the board first against Texas Tech on ESPN+. Back to Mark, RG3 and Q.
And Adrian Martinez still with a hot hand, using his feet there. 1st and 10 for the Sooners. They back it up to the 11-yard line. Single back set. Gabriel slings it complete for the first down and then some out to the 27-yard line. Mims temporarily atoning for that fumble a moment ago.
And you know what you do as an offensive coordinator like Jeff Levy? When a guy makes a mistake, you get the ball right back into his hands to let him know that you haven't given up on him.
For an injured player.
Got an injured player down on the field. Robert, let's take a look at your keys to the game this afternoon.
Well, I don't mind if we do.
Please.
Yes, when you talk about this game, it's about a Spidey meme game. Both of these offenses run a version of the air raid, and the defenses like to show multiple looks. We're going to see who's the baddest man on the block today. Eat up the grass. Both of these offenses like to operate in space, so they teach defenders not to shut their feet down, but to close that space, eat up the grass, and make tackles. That's going to be at a premium today. And then Mad Max. You saw Adrian Martinez and what he did last week against Oklahoma's defense.
Right.
Max Duggan has to use his legs this week to go out and threaten this defense and make them play 11 on 11. If he keeps throwing it like he did on that first drive, though, he can leave those legs in the locker room.
Well, Johnny Hodges, the injured player down on the field, and Jeff Levy, the offensive coordinator for the Oklahoma Sooners, with a look from up top, told us that one of the key things for them, Robert, you and I talked about it in the production meeting, they were 0 for 5 on 3rd and 7 or longer last week. See how if they can turn that beat around a little bit.
And we asked him, like, how do you turn that around? And he said it all starts with what Dylan Gabriel likes. This week he likes the full progression reads because of what this defense does with Joe Gillespie giving so many different looks.
Complete out of the backfield. Farouk trying to get to the edge and can't. Pushed out of bounds after about a 2-yard gain on the play. Millard Bradford and Kamara in on the stop.
And you see this TCU defense flying around to the ball, and everything they're going to do is to keep everything in front of them. So they're going to play these safeties deep back off the line of scrimmage and then try to rally tackle everything and force Oklahoma to put together 10, 12-play drives.
Sooners go empty. They hand it off on the jet sweep. And nowhere to go that time. Gain of about 2 on the play. That was Freeman, Gavin Freeman, number 82. So it sets up a 3rd down now for Oklahoma. About 6 to go. Gabriel with time. Incomplete at the 42 for Gibson. Had it bounce off of his hands. He seemed to have it the first time, then juggled it and it was knocked loose. So they'll have to punt.
You know, in football, every inch matters, and right there, they were so close to getting that completion. You see it right there. Catch it the first time, young man, because the fourth time, it's not going to be there anymore. Dillon Gabriel did a nice job breaking the pocket, using his legs, but his receiver has to help a brother out right there and make that catch.
Michael Turk going to punt. Keep an eye on number 11, Darius Davis. Holds the school's all-time record for punt returns on touchdowns. And this one out of bounds right around the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Duggan and the TCU offense. Here's our Saturday night football game presented by Capital One, a top 10 ACC matchup in Death Valley. Number 5 Clemson against number 10 NC State. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC and the ESPN app. While colorful Pat McAfee hosting our ESPN2 telecast. Break down that game for me. Who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, if DJ Uiagalelei plays like he did against Wake Forest, Clemson's going to win this game.
Okay.
Because their defense is going to have a bounce back. But I would never count out Devin Leary, Dave Dorn, and NC State. We saw them. We called that game last year where they upset them. That's going to be a great one to watch. Everybody should tune in.
Made a nice come up in that game. Duggan on 1st and 10. Pass incomplete. They tried to set up the receiver bubble screen. It was tipped partially near the line of scrimmage, intended for Savion Williams. It'll be 2nd down coming up. Last week, Duggan 22 of 29, 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions against SMU across town. In a game that Sonny Dykes coaching against his former school. Duggan over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Tay Barber, so quickly it's going to be 3rd down and 10.
Oh, that's a throw he wished he could have back. Tay Barber did a nice job settling in the hole between the linebackers. And Duggan missed him, but his offensive coordinator, Garrett Riley, told us that he believes that Max is processing the game and moving through his progressions better than he has ever seen him on tape do before. Yes, so he's doing a great job this year. Got to make sure he hits those throws that are there.
Oklahoma coming with a pressure blitz. Duggan got it off in time, overshot the receiver Darius Davis, and it's a 3 and out for that Sooner defense. They brought some heat that time, Robert, and tried to light them up.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of what Brent Venables does. This system has been consistently the top in sacks over the course of the last 10 years. And right there, he draws up a nice blitz, kind of catches the quarterback off guard, changes the picture on him per se, and they're off the field. Looking like Oklahoma's defense came to play today.
Got a good stop there on the 3 and out. Mims back for this punt. Right around midfield, calls for the fair catch. It'll be 1st and 10, Sooners from the 46-yard line of TCU. And now for today's Aflac trivia question. Dillon Gabriel is one of 2 Power 5 quarterbacks with 11 or more touchdowns and no turnovers this season. Who's the other? I wonder if, I think we saw, no, I didn't look at his stats last night.
No,
that kind of gives it away.
It's not him.
It's not him?
It's not him.
Okay.
Because he had a couple last night. I know you're talking about.
Okay. You got T-shirts with his name on it now, right?
Exactly.
That guy? Okay.
Yeah, that guy.
1st and 10, Oklahoma. Gabriel got a man downfield, comes underneath, complete at the 27-yard line. That's Marvin Mims. Had a touchdown reception last week in that loss against Kansas State. A unique talent, leading receiver. 17-yard gain on the play. Into the boundary, nowhere to go. Forward progress going to be at about the 26-yard line to Mims again. Dillon Gabriel came over from UCF. Former high school player of the year in the state of Hawaii. Passed for over 10,000 yards. Had a couple of high school state championships as a freshman. We all remember how prominent he was nationally. Really crushed it statistically and with wins. Goes downfield, incomplete, overshoots Farouk. And Q has more on the quarterback.
Yeah, I spoke to him on Wednesday night about the challenges of being a transfer quarterback leader. You arrive solo. Said relationships are built over time. It's based on respect. You can't rush it. He said after the initial move in, finding an apartment, learning about campus, once workouts started and the individuals with the wide receivers, he felt like he was in a groove. But he said, we must be friends off the field.
Chemistry. Pass incomplete. Could have been intercepted. Intended for Marvin Mims. Kamara there in on coverage, and Gabriel will go to the sidelines on 4th down and 8. Well within field goal range for kicker Zach Schmidt.
Well, you know, Gabriel hasn't really missed too many throws this year. He had a couple overthrows last week in crucial situations against Kansas State. But right there, they're trying to feature Marvin Mims just a little behind him, and their woes on 3rd and 7+ continue.
Schmidt is 4 for 5 this season. This one coming from 43 yards away. The snap down, the kick up, and Oklahoma on the board at 7-3. So with 9:49 to go in the first quarter, it's 7-3. Hey, what about the fact that TCU, what if I told you they were the only undefeated FBS team in the state of Texas? That would get your horns pointed up, right? Back after this.
So?
7-3 after that Sooners field goal a moment ago. TCU trying to snap an 8-game losing streak against OU. And this one will come out 1st and 10 for the Horned Frogs. Let's go back to the studio.
Mark, reminding our audience, we've got you covered here as we start the college football weekend. Ole Miss hosting Kentucky. They're on the board first. That game, a top 15 showdown on ESPN. Looks like we just got a field goal, and it is good. And meanwhile, Purdue up 7-0 on number 21 Minnesota. That game on ESPN2. Temple Memphis on ESPNU. Kurt Warner's son EJ leading the Owls. They were just stopped in the red zone. And number 25 Kansas State up 10-0 over Texas Tech over on ESPN Plus. Back to you, Mark.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Duggan in at quarterback still. 1st and 10. Little pitch to Davis, but well read by the defense. Good stop by Trey Morrison.
Yeah, Trey
Loss
Morrison.
Of 2 on the play, Robert.
Yeah, Trey Morrison was all over that one. But that was some pretty nifty ballsmanship right there by Max Duggan. And when we talked to him this week, one thing that he pointed out to us is why this team is so different this year is their strength coach, Kaz Kazadi, and we'll have more on him in a little bit.
Important part of that staff, the new staff assembled here at TCU. Out of the backfield, this is Miller. And Miller pushed out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. Let's answer the Aflac trivia question. Dillon Gabriel is one of 2 Power 5 quarterbacks with 11 or more touchdowns, no turnovers this season. Who's the other? Shut me out on this one, Robert. I didn't get it. I was thinking about our guy Penix out at Washington. It's Caleb Wood, a former Sooner quarterback, now
it's only right?
Rocking out at USC. My partner Robert Griffin III has a intricate grading system for some of these QB transfers. We'll talk about that later. Duggan wide open. Room service caught by Barber. And he's off. Touchdown TCU. '73 yards.
What a play right there by Tay Barber and Max Duggan. I can't wait to show you how this guy came wide open down the field. This is a beautiful job by Duggan of finding him.
I mean, you talk about room service, Robert. There was nobody in the same area code as Tay Barber defensively for Oklahoma. Looking forward to that breakdown, too. Somebody hit the snooze button.
Yes, they did.
The flag down on the play. That's a career-long catch for Barber. And touchdown, the first of the season for him.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the touchdown, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 11 and 4 of TCU. That is both players' first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game. There'll be one 15-yard penalty enforced on the kickoff.
A dismayed and disappointed Coach Dykes. But if I'm a coach, I take the enthusiasm with the touchdowns. It's okay.
Listen, man.
Football
is supposed to be fun.
That's right.
You don't want the penalty, but it is supposed to be fun.
And a missed extra point. Blew that. Special teams. Man, we had a game last week. Blown easy field goals and extra points, and the trend continues. Let's take a look at maybe what that flag was about, though. Here's Barber.
Celebrate, a couple high fives. Hey, man, great job. Yeah, I don't really see anything there, guys.
No. Tough to figure that one out.
Yes, it is. But here's the replay of the play, and I want you to watch this safety right here. He's going to come forward. He's man-to-man on Tay Barber, who is right here. And he's going to come forward because he sees the back come out of the backfield and leave Tay Barber wide open all by himself. I tell you this, man, Tay Barber must have got a fresh cut because he's out there acting a fool today.
You got a nice lineup, no doubt, Robert. He faded that defense, that's for sure. 8:35 to go in the first quarter. Boy, some serious offensive fireworks from TCU early in this football game. We haven't even reached the midway point of the first quarter, and already a couple of touchdowns, albeit the missed extra point. The lone blemish on their afternoon.
And you know, Mark, an interesting part of that play also is that on a previous possession, Darius Davis had got one-on-one with the safety, and that safety wanted no part of it. It was Damon Harmon. So right there, they got him one-on-one again with the safety in zone coverage. He didn't want anything to do with it.
Farouk still on his feet into TCU territory, all the way down to the 38-yard line. Nice return by Jalil Farouk. Hey, this season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. And the best nation in the world, Robert Griffin? A donation.
There you go. Love it, man.
I'm sorry, man. I'm a little excited by the start. Let's see what Gabriel gets done here with the football.
College football will do that to you, Mark.
Yes,
John.
sir. Gabriel's going to hand it off. And through the right side of that offensive line is Eric Gray, the transfer from Tennessee.
Ooh.
Expect to see Gray and Barnes out of the backfield. Marcus Major as well. Back up at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be Gray again, this time trying the left side of that offensive line. Took a stick from D. Winters. 2-yard gain on the play. D. Winters, a great story for the Horned Frogs defensively. He was one of the first players to visit with the defensive coordinator, Joe Gillespie. After Gillespie met with the defense after taking the job, 3rd and 4. Gabriel overshoots his receiver, Braden Willis, and it's 4th down coming up.
And Mark, there goes that unfortunate overthrow that seems to be plaguing Dillon Gabriel right now. They are going to go for it on 4th down.
You like it?
I like the decision just because this is in that fringe area where you can kick a field goal probably here, but it's going to be a long one for your kicker. But Oklahoma and teams around the country have decided to go for it on 4th downs in this fringe area more and more often. Let's see what they call here.
They're 4 of 7 on 4th downs this year. Gabriel going through his progression. And another overthrow incomplete for Mims that time. Robert, you pointed it out. That's an early storyline for Dillon Gabriel with another overthrow.
Yeah, a lot of times when you're a quarterback and you're overthrowing your receivers, it's because you don't have your body settled. And you're going to see Dillon Gabriel work across the formation, break the pocket this way, and then he tries to get his feet back underneath him to make the throw. But once again, it's just his consistency in his throwing mechanics right now just seems to be a little bit off. And his coach, offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby, talked about how anytime Dillon Gabriel has his feet underneath him, he's good and he makes all the throws.
Okay.
Right there, he tried to get them, but couldn't quite do it.
We got a football up here in the booth. I'm going to ask you to show me what having his feet underneath him looks like at some point during the course of the afternoon. First down and 10. Used to play the position, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Duggan quarterbacking, taking off. Duggan with his legs. Oh, Duggan all the way for the touchdown. 67-yard sprint across the grass. Don't sleep on his wheels.
Oh, my.
Max Duggan showed the Sooner defense his shoe bottoms in a big way right there. Pulling away this time, the extra point good, and it's 20-3.
Opposing quarterbacks have 5 rushing touchdowns against Oklahoma this year, and that might have been the best one of them all.
Robert, we smiled. He smiled when we asked about his speed yesterday.
Yes, look, he told us that he feels faster, leaner, more agile. He's like, where are the defenders at? His strength coach, Kaz Kazadi, told us this man's got a dragon in his chest, and right now he's spitting hot fire.
He just flamed that Sooner defense. He can't believe it.
He said, I can't believe Max Duggan just ran that on us. You better believe he did, sir. You better believe he did.
The Oklahoma sideline, and I'm sure Quint down in the field sees this too. They seem stunned right now. Starched, apoplectic Quint. Q?
Coach Venables right now getting after his defense on the left side 40-yard line. You know, Billy Bowman hasn't come back in the game at safety after hurting himself. Remember that early kickoff he got hurt? That potentially led to the long touchdown pass. And
on the return, Oklahoma, it's Farouk. Still on his feet. And Farouk pushed out of bounds shy of the 35-yard line, 1st and 10 from there. Boy, we have had some real pyrotechnics, some fireworks here early. Gabriel completed it to Mims, and then the fumble allowed the first score right there on the great catch in the end zone from Williams. And then wide open, Barber races into the end zone, and then Duggan taking out his do-it-yourself kit and doing just that for the next touchdown. Their 3rd one of the afternoon already here in the first quarter. Barnes on the run for Oklahoma, and he's brought down at about the 37-yard line. A look at the Sooners discombobulated, disconcerted on the sidelines right now. That defense on its heels. On the slant, incomplete, and a flag. That's going to be pass interference. Hodges Tomlinson had an arm draped around Mims.
As you see Hodges Tomlinson there, pretty upset about the call. But the bottom line is he just got there a little too early. You know, we see a lot of hand fighting on the outside between the DBs and the wide receivers. But if any time you get to them early and make them turn, they're going to throw a flag.
2 fouls on the play. Ineligible player downfield on the pass, number 73, offense. Pass interference, number 1, defense. Those fouls offset. Replay, 2nd down.
All right, we'll do it again. Hodges Tomlinson, 2-time all-conference player for TCU on the corner. Excellent corner.
Yeah, he is an excellent corner. You know, guys, something that we got to point out there. One, there's a fan down here in front of us that just said Max Duggan looked like me running down the sideline. And I wanted to tell him, no, he didn't look like me. He looks like Max Duggan.
Hey.
That guy's a baller.
Great point. Boy, big-time hitting on Barnes. Javante Barnes with a hard-earned 2 yards on that play. Tackled by D. Winters. Talked about Winters. Defensive coordinator Joe Gillespie asked him, who's the alpha on this team when he first took over? Winter said, you're talking to him right now. That pass complete for the 1st down. Good catch by Drake Stoops. That's a very low-key and understated Brent Venables. Much different portrait of the guy we are used to seeing on the sidelines going back to Clemson. Nowhere to go around the left side for Barnes, brought down by Brooks. 1 yard gain on the play.
You know,
so does he doesn't look like, Venables doesn't look like he needs a get back coach right now. Someone to actually get him back and pull him back. Someone assigned to him like in the past. Gabriel taking a shot downfield. They pop the top of the defense. And it's incomplete, intended for Mims. Yet another overthrow by Gabriel.
Yeah, guys, I think that might be the 4th or 5th overthrow that we've seen. I know that he wants to make the plays, get it all back, but you got to make sure you give your wide receiver a chance. A lot of times on the deep ball, an underthrow is just as good as hitting him in stride because at least you're giving him a shot to make the play. To overthrow Marvin Mims, you really got to try to overthrow him. Right there, Gabriel did.
3rd and 9, they got to get to the 46. Gabriel, high, incomplete. Again, Drake Stoops, the intended target. It's 4th and 9. We have an injured player down in the field. Okay, Robert, we've been talking about the proclivity for overthrows by Dylan Gabriel. His coach says he's got to play with his feet underneath him. Show me and tell me exactly what that means. Feet underneath him.
Right. When you pause this screen right before the ball comes out of his hands, you're going to see that his feet are so far outside of his frame, outside of his shoulders, and that's not what they want. I have extensive relationship with Jeff Lebby, having been coached by him in college. You're going to see it right here. Look at that big space. We can roll it back just a little bit. And you'll see he's got all that space between his legs. When they coached me when I was in college at Baylor University, they told me this isn't where you want to be, right? You don't want to be way out here. Right. You want to be standing tall with a slight bend in your legs, because then when you make those throws, you're from a consistent plane. Okay. It's like golf, right? Okay. If you keep your shoulders down in golf, you're going to be able to swing right through where you go back. But by him having his feet so far out, it's going to make his hips have to activate and go too far. Watch, he's there underneath himself, but watch when he steps to make this throw. He's so far outside of his base, it's gonna make the ball sail on him.
Okay.
All right, now when you got 6'4", 6'5" defensive linemen and 6'6" offensive linemen in front of you, it's very important to have a consistent base with where you're throwing from so that you and your receivers can know that the ball is gonna be on the money.
Well, he has missed his targets high a lot. He's missed 6 of his last 7 passes overall in the game, with 5:36 to go in a prolonged, 6:13 to go in a prolonged first quarter. He's 6 of 13. And the Sooners going to punt again. This is Michael Turk. Darius Davis perched on his own 10-yard line. Going to bounce inside the 10 and dribble into the end zone. Talked about Coach Venables needing a get-back coach in the past at Clemson because of his energized, animated ways. A different picture here from what we're looking at now. That's a gig I wouldn't mind taking if the pay's right, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
I mean, just tell Coach to get back. The coach looks like he wants to hit him a couple times. He's like, man, get off me. Stop touching me. I'm trying to get out there and play. But yeah, when you look at him now, he's in a different role, Mark. Right. He's the head coach. He has to maintain trust and respect of his coordinators, and I think that's why you're seeing him not be as adamant.
1st and 10. Duggan with time, taking a shot up top. A little bit of contact and a flag. That was intended for Quentin Johnston, working against Woody Washington. Looks like we're going to have another pass interference. You saw the indication. There was the first target of the game, I think, for Quentin Johnston.
Pass interference, number 10, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Correction, the player is number 0.
You're going to see here, Max Duggan puts some air under the ball. The DB gets there early. I'm telling you, man, they got to teach these DBs to not just play the hands of the wideout, but to get their eyes back. Because when the ball is in the air for that long, it's going to be impossible for them to judge when the ball's coming down.
1st and 10 as a result. Pass complete to Johnston. He's going to be met right away. And Q, we were talking about Venables, and he's got the thermostat of the room now, right?
It's a little hot down here, I would say. He's going to need a get-back coach if his defense continues to get bludgeoned the way they are right now. Whether it's missing a fit on the dug and run, whether it's getting beat deep, whether it's PI calls. I get the feeling that this defense has got a lot of volume, a lot of stuff on their plate, and they're thinking too much and not doing their jobs and missing.
And his pregame news conferences this week, he talked about his players being hesitant defensively and not getting their fits right in tackling. That time they do. Sean White, first one to get there on Corey Wren. No gain on the play. Nose of the ball resting at about the 39-yard line for TCU in this first quarter that they have owned.
Yeah,
Duggan looking at 3rd and 6.
Yeah, TCU has owned this quarter. And when you talk to Brent Venables this week, he said this game was important because you got to right the ship. And right now, Sonny Dykes and TCU, they got their own ship rolling.
Duggan almost got sacked, got rid of it in time. No flag. He was outside that tackle box, went beyond the line of scrimmage. The pass.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback was outside of the pocket, and the pass went beyond the line of scrimmage. 4th down.
White with the pressure. That's the animated Brent Venables that we're used to seeing. It was great talking to him earlier this week. He said that this feels like home in reference to coming back to Oklahoma. Second stint there. Fair catch called at the 25. It'll bounce. It'll be 1st and 10 for Dylan Gabriel in that Sooner offense. Again, the Mets and the Braves continue their battle for the NL East title on Sunday Night Baseball. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern with Baseball Tonight. Sunday Night Countdown. Aaron Judge still hitting home runs, right?
Is he?
Hey, Barry Bonds is still my home run champ. I'm just going to leave it right there and keep it moving. 3:47 to go. On 1st and 10, Eric Gray runs it. Gets a couple of yards. Dylan Gabriel's father played quarterback at Hawaii. He taught his son footwork and throwing mechanics.
Oh, that's all bad right now.
That was bad mechanics offensively. There's going to be motion up front.
False start. Number 72, offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
I remember during COVID that Gabriel's father converted the family garage into a very elaborate, comprehensive gym, and got in some good workouts with his son during that time.
Got to make do with what you have, right?
Yes. Trying to be resourceful right now and enterprising. Gabriel on the move. Pushed out of bounds at about the 22 by D. Winters, a.k.a. I'm the alpha dog, coach. You don't have to ask anybody else. There he is, number 13, the leading voice defensively for TCU.
Anytime you see a linebacker with a neck roll, you know he means business. D. Winters trying to let these guys know winter is coming.
Third and long for Gabriel. Got a man down the middle, caught with room to go for Willis. Brandon Willis. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Braden Willis with just enough gas to get into the end zone. Millard Bradford tried to run him down, had the angle, but not enough. And Willis cribs it 79 yards.
And you know why Dillon Gabriel hit him in stride right there? Aside from the fact that he was wide open.
Right.
His feet were underneath him. We talked about those mechanics. He went on the sideline, probably had a conversation with Jeff Lebby upstairs, his offensive coordinator, and he told him, hey, man, take a deep breath. You know how to do this. And right there, he shows you why people loved him at UCF and why they should love him right now at Oklahoma.
Well, maybe that'll imbue
ruling
him
on
with
the
a little
field
bit of
of a
confidence.
touchdown is under further review.
They're going to take a look at this touchdown, see if it stands. Braden Willis, if it does, it'll be his 5th touchdown reception of the season, the 11th of his career. They're going to see if maybe he stepped out of bounds. Keep an eye out here, Robert.
You're going to see it right when he gets hit. His foot is going to go out of bounds, and it's just a matter of where's the ball when it happens. You see the hit? There's his foot out of bounds. To me, it looks like it's just short of the goal line.
Can't really tell from that angle because of the depth perception. Would need one that looks right down the goal line, but remember, there's got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. Here's another look. Have a little bit more of an angle here.
After review, the runner's left foot was out of bounds prior to the ball breaking the plane of the goal line. It's first down and goal at the 1-yard line.
So they're going to be 1st and 10. 1st and goal from the 1. Had a little technical issue. And we're back. 1st and goal. Gabriel under center this time. Going to hand it off. And that'll do it. Gray. No doubt about that one. Gray with his 3rd touchdown of the season. The Tennessee transfer punches it in. And that'll count.
Yeah, so here you're going to see Dillon Gabriel once again. He drops back to pass. His feet are underneath him. Now watch, his feet are here. Look where they're at when he makes the throw. Still underneath him. Nice, calm, compact motion. And he hits Braden Willis right in stride. What you talking about, Willis?
he was talking about a touchdown. That's what. Tell you what, there's a reason why the coaches were really glad that Willis decided to stay and play for the Sooners, guys. Let's go back to the studio.
Mark, time now for our Mayhem Moment, brought to you by Allstate. You know, Ole Miss, their running attack, the storyline this season. Quinshon Judkins here, Boog.
Yeah, notice the down, Kev. 3rd and 3. They catch Kentucky by surprise. That is a running down for Ole Miss.
48 yards to the house, and they're up 14-0. So Kentucky's special teams, another storyline. They need a big return. You get it from Barry and Brown.
Yeah, they want life support at this point, but just like any good team, special teams stepping up.
85 yards, setting up a touchdown, but they missed the extra point right now. 14-6 on ESPN. Mark.
All right, back here we got a 10-point football game. 2:15 to go in the first quarter. 30 points already. Where are the defenses, Robert?
Hey, Mark, I don't know where the defenses are, but this is my type of game right here. These offenses are humming right now.
In a big way, look at the numbers. It bears out that fact. 4 plays, 76 yards for the touchdown during that last drive. Willis with the touchdown run, 79 yards, and now it'll be Max Duggan's turn.
And that's why whenever you play a team that runs a version of the air raid, really no lead is safe. This is going to be a great game. These teams are humming, ready to roll.
Horned Frogs will have it 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Max Duggan, a young man whose football career, if you remember, was in peril a couple of years ago when he tested positive for COVID. Subsequent follow-up exams showed a heart ailment that had to be rectified via surgery, and it was subsequently cleared up, and he was able to play football again after that, obviously. But when you look at number 15 right there on your screen, that's a young man that takes nothing for granted. He loves football, but he realized perspective through that whole time. Hands it off on 1st and 10. Nice move by Miller, tripped up by Harmon. A 1-yard gain on the play. Andre Miller opened the game last week with a 35-yard run to really set the tone for that Horned Frog offense against SMU.
Yes, he did. And that was a nice tackle right there by Damon Harmon. We talked about eating up the grass, closing the space, and when you're making these tackles on defense, that's exactly what you do right there.
Duggan with all day. Incomplete. Not sure whether that was for Hudson or Barber. It landed in between the two of them, and we got a flag on the far side of the field.
Sideline warning against the Oklahoma bench. There is no penalty yardage associated. This is just a warning.
That's one of those points of emphasis this year, right?
Yeah, you know, got to protect the refs, keep those guys from getting on the field.
The whole sideline needs a get back coach.
Yeah, not just Brent Venables there.
1:34 to go in the first quarter.
You know, on that previous play, Max Duggan actually missed one of his receivers wide open down the field, had one-on-one against the safety and blew by him by 5 yards. See if they try to come back to that.
Over the middle, complete at midfield. Tay Barber again moves the chains with a first down catch. 24-yard pickup. Duggan threw a dart that time.
Yes, he did.
From midfield, here's Barber again. Made a nice move, still on his feet and close to another first down. Let's see where they spot it. They'll give it to him and move the chains again.
You know, offensive coordinator Garrett Riley told us that he felt the weakness of this Oklahoma defense was in the intermediate area in the seams. And on the previous throw, you saw him hit Tay Barber on the opposite seam. They are really trying to go after this Oklahoma defense in ways that they haven't been attacked all year.
They get it out on the receiver screen. Hudson on the edge, still on his feet. And close to another first down. Jordan Hudson, a poised freshman that the coaching staff really expects a lot from in the future. 1st and 10 again for the Horned Frogs from the Oklahoma 30. Quentin Johnson spit wide to the top of your screen. Wiley in motion now sets. Looking at Johnson, up for grabs. Jump ball. Contact. Flag. And Woody Washington is going to get called for pass interference.
Mark, Woody Washington is not looking real presidential out there right now. He's holding everybody.
Pass interference, number 0, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Oh, man. Johnson was wearing him that time like a suit.
And Johnson still almost caught the ball.
Yeah.
Hey, like they say, if you can't cover him, hold him.
Tell you what, Quentin Johnston has so much gravity out there. He attracts so much attention. Opens up things for other receivers like Davis and Barber. That's been the story all year. 1st and 10. Duggan hands it off this time. Miller. Touchdown, Horned Frogs. Miller with his 4th rushing touchdown of the year.
And he was sprung open by a block from Brandon Coleman, number 77, the left tackle. I told you Kendre Miller coming to this game is an NFL talent, and you saw a couple broken tackles right there as he walked into the end zone.
Impressive offensive showing so far for TCU in the first quarter.
So you're going to see it right here, the block by Big 77. Oh, get some. And he's going to get his man Kendre Miller through there. We don't do ankle tackles here, baby. It's Miller time.
Wow, 27 points in the first quarter. They have shredded, eviscerated, disemboweled that Venables defense so far.
You know, Mark, we came into this game asking ourselves, how good is this TCU team? We don't know. We're going to find out how Oklahoma's going to respond after their loss last week. Right now, TCU's looking real.
100, man. I'm talking about 27 points, Robert, on 20 plays, 237 yards of total offense so far. Let me say that again, 237 yards of total offense so far against that defense, looking very disheartened right now. I'll tell you what, this kind of first quarter, if you're defensive coordinator for Oklahoma, Ted Roof, you're walking floors at night, smoking out the window, even if you don't smoke.
Yeah.
I mean,
are you saying that the roof is on fire right now?
Yeah, let it burn if you're TCU.
Ted Roof told us that last week's game was an abomination.
Right.
They didn't live up to the standard. Keep the main thing the main thing. We heard all those things from the coaches. They have to do something to wake up this Oklahoma Sooner defense.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see what that is going to be, because it's not happening right now. 1st and 10. Gabriel hands it off to Barnes. And Barnes gets down outside the 40 at about the 42-yard line. That's going to be the end of the first quarter of the first 15 minutes of play. An offensive explosion in a pristine, bucolic setting in the neighborhood here in Fort Worth. We'll be back for the second quarter right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome back to college football, presented by Arby's. Beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Fort Worth. Sooners faking the jet sweep. They hand it off straight ahead to Javonte Barnes, the explosive freshman out of Las Vegas. Picked up 3 yards on the play. Gabriel with the RPO, taking a shot up top. Got a man behind the defense. Incomplete at the 5-yard line. Intended for Marvin Mims, who has had a lot of targets, an abundance of targets today.
You know, Mims, I don't think has had more than 5 catches other than the Kent State game. So right here, this is not on Dillon Gabriel. Marvin Mims, every receiver in the country knows that if the ball touches your hands, you're supposed to catch it. Right there, he needed to keep his feet, take that one extra step, and run through the ball. And he might be actually striking up the band back in Boomer Sooner right now if he had done that.
Is that you, just a quarterback throwing a receiver under the bus?
Nah, not at all, man. Listen,
Oklahoma takes their first
see what happened was you gotta make sure the quarterback and the wide receiver are on the same page.
All right, don't back up over him. I'm going to talk to Marvin after this game. We'll be back after this. Here at TCU, kids in the hammock, mom and dad reading a book, chilling a little bit. Parents' weekend usually means, for kids, I'm guessing, let's not be so buck wild. Mom and dad are here right now.
No doubt. They probably their friends are like, hey, you coming out this weekend? No, mom and dad are here. Can't let them know what I do. They're not around.
3rd and 7. Oklahoma trying to stay on the field. Gabriel fires incomplete. And it'll be 4th down. Hodges Tomlinson there to break up the pass to Weiss Jr. Parent would be proud of that, Q.
And Parents' Weekend also means asking for money when they're here.
Oh, yeah. Cut the check. Cut the check.
Well, I can tell you who's making some money right now.
Hodges Tomlinson.
On the pass, number 74, offense. The penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
Yeah, Travius Hodges Tomlinson is making money right now out there on the football field. both him and Josh Newton are sticking to these wide receivers like glue, making everything difficult. You know, Oklahoma's known for having a lot of NFL-type talent. Right now, these corners are shutting them down.
4th down and 7. Remember, that is the nephew of LaDainian Tomlinson, former NFL great, Hall of Famer. Played here in Fort Worth. This is going to be down inside the 10-yard line. 1st and 10 from there. Remember, he initially, as you look at his great reaction there, animated reaction, he initially committed to Baylor. And Robert, he remembered watching you play at Baylor back in the day, but ultimately decided he wanted to come to TCU, who was known for putting defensive players into the NFL.
Yes, and Hodges Tomlinson's taken the next step. He talked to us about strength coach Kaz Kazadi and how he's helped him put on weight, but also maintain his speed, his leanness, and his agility. And right now, he's not only being a lockdown corner outside, but he's also playing in the box a little bit and making tackles in the running game. That's an all-around corner for you.
1st and 10, Duggan out of the shotgun. Hands it off, nice hold from Miller. Still on his feet, great hand walk. An indefatigable effort there by Kendre Miller, picking up 9, maybe 8 yards on the play, but nice hand walk. 2nd and short. Miller again lacerates that front and picks up another 1st down. Out to the 35-yard line, a missed tackle by Harrington, a 16-yard gain. And talk to me about the tackling of this Oklahoma defense right now.
Yeah, we talked about eating up the grass, but right now they're not eating up anything. They're missing tackles left, and that's 1, 2. Almost 3 and 4 broken tackles right there. Kendre Miller is a really, really good running back. I've never seen a guy break more tackles on 1 foot than he has. But if you're Oklahoma, if you want to get this game turned around, it starts with the basics, man. You got to win the line of scrimmage and tackle on the back end.
Another 1st down for the Horned Frogs. They're going to keep it on the ground, and why not? 4-yard effort that time by DeMercado. Ari DeMercado. To me, that's DeMercado. Second down and 7. Boy, Duggan has all day and finds his man in traffic. Savion Williams with another 1st down catch. Robert, there is absolutely no pressure on the quarterback. 8-yard gain.
There isn't, but look at this throw and the concentration by Savion Williams coming back to the ball. But Max Duggan, I don't think I've ever seen him play this confident in his life. He is out there slinging the ball around to anybody, and everybody can get it right now.
They hand it off. DeMercado out near another 1st down, about a 9-yard gain on the play. You talk about Duggan. It was great to hear Coach Dykes last week in wake of that victory against SMU get very emotional, heavy-hearted when talking about the great story that his starting quarterback is. After coming in and not winning the QB1 spot, but then Coach Dykes telling Duggan, hey, listen, I chose a true freshman over Nick Foles when I was at Arizona, so just be ready. It'll work out for you, and it has. He hands it off again, and another nice gain by DeMercado.
It has worked out for him, Mark, and Duggan was a 3-year starter. This is a guy that everyone here in Fort Worth calls a TCU guy. He could have easily ran to the portal and said, hey, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore because he didn't win that job. But he said it never crossed his mind. He knew this is where he wanted to be, and when his opportunity came, he was going to maximize it. All puns intended.
Little blitz coming, gets rid of it in time. Down the sideline, incomplete in traffic intended for Jordan Hudson. It'll be 2nd down.
Well, guys, there's a couple ways you can stop the deep ball. One of them is you can get the safety over the top like they do here. The other one is you can get lucky. Because right there, the safety was over the top, and he didn't track the ball. He actually ran past the wide receiver. But in football, it doesn't matter how you get the job done. It's about getting the job done. And right there, they stopped the deep ball. It feels like the first time in forever, but we got 10 minutes left in the second quarter, and it's 37 points. Feels like a gajillion yards. But good job with the stop.
Duggan going to hand it off. DeMercado turns the corner, got the edge, in space, short of the end zone by mere inches. It'll be 1st and goal TCU after that 36-yard scamper.
And why was it a 36-yard scamper? The offensive line does a nice job, but right there you see number 12, Key Lawrence. He don't have no keys to any car because he couldn't get up there and make the tackle in space.
DeMercado with the touchdown. Last week, DeMercado had that 61-yard touchdown run against SMU. He's played a lot of football here at TCU and punched that one in for the score. A KG veteran giving the Horned Frogs a 34-10 lead with 10:30 to go. The meter's still running, partner.
Yes, the meter is still running, and TCU's getting it any way they want to. 167 yards rushing, 159 yards passing. They are showing Oklahoma the boom. It's hard to feel alive when hope's dead and gone. I can see it in your...
I'm the captain of the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Student sections across the country are competing to be the Live Más student section of the year all season long. Robert, I didn't get the email, man. Like, why aren't we wearing our overalls today?
I didn't know, but I mean, look at the chest hair on this guy.
Look like taco meat.
I wouldn't want to wear the overalls, but when you're beating Oklahoma 34-10, I guess you can wear whatever you want. They are living moss.
Yes. Hey, the good thing about that section, doesn't matter what you wear, your clothes will always be in style. Close to a sellout crowd of 48,000 on hand.
Free kick out of bounds against the kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
What does Oklahoma have to do here to just get some kind of semblance of offense going? Just 10 points on the board and down 24. I mean, they got to score pretty much every time, right?
Yeah, they do, but they can only play one play at a time. I know that sounds like coach talk or cliche talk, but this Oklahoma Sooner offense can't play defense. That's the bottom line. So the only thing they can do is focus on the next play, try to go out and get points. A touchdown or a field goal here can kind of maybe settle things down for them.
Stoops on the jet sweep. Turned those shoulders north-south and got out to about the 43. Obi Izor making the stop on the play. A 7-yard gain by Drake Stoops, native of Norman, Oklahoma. 2nd and 3. This time they fake the jet sweep to him and give it to Gray. It's going to set up a short 3rd and a long 1 to go. Dylan Horton making the tackle for TCU. TCU in that 3-3-5. And they give up the first down on that run by Gray. Out to the 48.
You know, Mark, I actually love the fact that offensive coordinator Jeff Levy here is not abandoning the run game. This is college football. You can get back into a game like this in a hurry. Don't abandon your full offense.
Gabriel slides in, took a hit. He got rocked, flag on the field. And he is motionless right now on the field. Jamoy Hodge made the hit as Dylan Gabriel was about to slide, in the process of sliding.
Wow.
And let's keep an eye on Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel took a hit, and we're just going to sit back and observe here. Both teams being motioned to their respective sidelines. Here's another look at that hit.
Man, oh man.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness with targeting. Number 6, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. The ruling on the field of targeting is under review.
Okay, so you target and you talk about the crown of the helmet, which has been redefined this year as, in layman's term, just literally the top part of the helmet. And is the player defenseless or not? They're still tending to quarterback Dylan Gabriel of Oklahoma. We're going to take a short break and be right back.
At Jersey,
on the sidelines for TCU. And as you intimated a moment ago, Quint, perhaps a rallying point for Oklahoma, Robert.
Yeah, and you're going to see Javonte Barnes. He is the definition of explosion. They get a nice run block for him, and he explodes down the field into the end zone. You want to talk about unification? Your quarterback goes down on a late hit when he's sliding. You come out, you go score a touchdown for him and get yourself right back in this game.
That was Barnes' first rushing touchdown of the season, the first of his fledgling career. Timeout. We'll be back after this.
Restructured pork patty sandwich.
When the game continues, we're chasing history as Aaron Judge looking to set the AL record with 62 home runs and pass Roger Maris first at bat of the day against the Orioles. Let's go live. Yes Network to the Bronx.
61 years ago is when Roger Maris hit his 61st home run. Well, Judge hit 62 exactly 61 years later. The Maris family is here to see it. The Judge family, of course, is here to see it as well. And the crowd here at the stadium can't wait. Judge still battling for the Triple Crown as well. He had a single yesterday, still trailing Luis Ariz of the Minnesota Twins by percentage points. But 61 home runs, 130 runs batted in. Austin Voth is the Oriole pitcher. And we welcome all of those from around the country tuning in to see Aaron Judge attempt hit number 62. And the 1-0 outside, 2-0. 2 more walks for Judge last night. Since he hit number 60, he has a .550 on-base percentage. He's walked a lot. The 2-0. And that hit Judge. So he'll take first, and the crowd is not pleased.
Okay, he's not getting a lot of pitches since he hit home run number 60. Michael Kay, thank you so much. We'll keep you up to date on Aaron Judge all afternoon. Back to Mark.
Okay, guys, 2nd and 5 back here. Duggan pulls the trigger and tackled right away at the 30-yard line. Nowhere to go for Darius Davis. Good tackle by Morrison. So it'll be 3rd down after the 2-yard gain. Ball at the 32.
You're seeing TCU slow down a little bit with their offense, and I don't think they're playing anything conservative. I think they're just trying to make a concerted effort to get their best plays and their best players out there on the field right now. They got Quentin Johnson at the bottom of your screen and Savion Williams at the top. Both these guys have been going off all day.
Blitz coming. Got rid of it in time to Davis. On the receiver screen, he's going to have a first down and then some. Interminable, endless effort by Davis and got a good block from Brandon Coleman to pick up 18.
Yes, Max Duggan gets the ball out quick. Davis gets upfield a couple blocks, but then he shows the power. Says, oh my goodness, get off me, Washington. He ain't got no money.
Boy, he earned that yardage. Darius Davis, 48 yards receiving today, moves the sticks. 1st and 10 from the 50. Miller into the boundary, showing great patience, and picked up about 6. Let's take one more look at the injury suffered by Dillon Gabriel on that hit right there by Jamoy Hodge.
Yes.
Hodge went to the sidelines after Gabriel got up and walked off. And Hodge disqualified from the game, but there's a look at Gabriel in the aftermath. And, you know, this is a game played by human beings. These are not machines out here. Miller with the run. The distraught reaction by the defender, Hodge, says a lot.
Yeah, guys, I think Jamoy Hodge is sitting here realizing that a play like that he just made put Dillon Gabriel out of the game. And I'll go so far as to say it was a dirty play. But because of his reaction, I don't consider him to be a dirty player. I've been on the other side of a slide tackle where you get a concussion because the guy hits you late. And it's really tough for these defenders to pull off in some of those situations because they're wired to get after the ball so hard.
Down the field, contact, incomplete. Morrison broke it up, intended for Spivey, no flag, and boy, Spivey took a hit. And it's 4th and short. You can hear the boos cascading down from the stands. Did he get there early?
Yes, 100% he got there early. That should have been pass interference. Let alone the receiver being defenseless.
That part too. 4th and 1, they're going to go for it. Duggan out of the shotgun, still on the field. Miller in the backfield behind him. Miller bobbing and weaving. Not sure that he got it. Let's see how they spot it. That is going to be incredibly close. Oklahoma gets the stop. The Sooners take over on downs. It appeared as if Miller had to do too much dancing behind the line of scrimmage. Boy, Sonny Dykes is hotter than July right now.
Yeah, and I think he's actually more hot about the previous play than that stop right there, because it did look like Kendre Miller got stopped short of the first down line because they didn't win at the point of attack. We talked about that with Oklahoma last week against Kansas State. O and D line did not win at the point of attack, and again, right there, they showed that they can and will when they need to.
They bowed up, got the stop. TCU called timeout. Q, what's up?
You're going to need a fire extinguisher down here for Coach Dykes, because he is going after the side judge, Jason Leddit. He's going after the head official, Tuta Salam. The video screen showed the pass interference where the Oklahoma player is not playing the ball at all. And these fans got a good look at it 2 or 3 times, as did Coach. The referees, well, they don't want to look up at it because they know they got that one wrong. They know that was a miss, but there's no way that call can be reviewed. It's procedurally, the play is gone, the play is dead. Unless, of course, they thought it was targeting. If Coach Dykes wanted to get after these officials and say, can you look at that for targeting, perhaps they could have looked at the video again.
Yeah, defenseless. Launch. Is there a launch there?
Yeah, there's a launch there. Hit him in the head and neck area. You'll see it here.
Yeah, so Coach Dykes called the timeout just to give the officials some smoke, it appears. 1st and 10 for Oklahoma.
The previous play is under review to determine the spot of the forward progress.
They're looking to see where the ball should be spotted. Oklahoma down 17 with possession. This has been a protracted first half. .540 to go still. Let's take another look and see. What do you make of the spot, Robert? You think they got a good one or not?
Yeah, I didn't think they got a good spot, but you see the dancing in the backfield there by Kendre Miller. He pushes forward, and then it's just a matter of how do you decipher? Right here. Can anybody see the ball?
No.
Zoom in. I can't see it. So if you can't see the ball there, how is the ref going to be able to overturn that call and give them a first down or readjust the spot? A lot of times in these situations, the way they call it on the field is exactly what it'll end up being.
The ruling on the field stands. It's first down, Oklahoma.
Bruh, can I just bring something up to you? This game is decades long, right? Have we not evolved enough to the point where we can't have some kind of microchip in the football to spot this better, to check the forward progress? There's got to be some kind of technology out there that beats just doing it via the human eye.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean,
for sure. You talk about microchips, you know, I mean, Elon Musk and those
I'm just
guys
throwing
are
it
like
out there.
clapping right now after you say all that.
And there's a look at Kaz, strength and conditioning coach.
This man right here, that is Kaz Kazadi, the strength and conditioning coach. We talked to Hodges Tomlinson, their corner. We talked to Max Duggan, their quarterback, and they say he's not just a strength coach, he's a life coach. He has really transformed this program.
On the handoff, this is Eric Gray. Gray picks up the first down, got about 14. And back to Coach Kazadi. You've got personal experience, Robert, with him. He's had a bunch of big-time guys, right?
Yes, he has.
Including you. Gray on the run, brought down after a gain of about 2. How many pounds and how many seconds did he take off your 40 time?
Let's put it this way. I went to college. I ran a 4.5.
Right.
And I was 180 pounds.
Skinny.
By the time I left college, Coach Kaz had helped me get up to 224 pounds, and I ran a 4.32. So he knows what he's doing, and everywhere he's been successful. He is the secret weapon.
He was an important hire for Coach Dykes. Bevel swallowed, and succumbs at the 49-yard line. Mitchell was the first one to get there. And the Sooners going to lose a few yards. If you're just joining us, Dylan Gabriel was injured on the last series.
Yeah, and you're going to see some of that added strength that he's put on these guys. They said, hey, he's put on 15 pounds of muscle for all us guys, and I feel sorry for the ball carrier right there because that's a whole lot of man meat on top of him.
All right. There's a look at Dylan Gabriel out of the tent and walking towards the Sooner locker room as we approach halftime with 4:16 to go. Bevel behind his receiver, Gray, who is wide open. It'll be 4th and long.
If he completes that pass to Eric Gray right there, he's still running.
Right.
There wasn't anyone within a 20-yard radius of him. And if there was, he was being blocked by a wide receiver. Davis Bevel, they've kind of helped you, allowing you to hand the ball off to the running backs as you first come in. But when you get an opportunity to make an easy throw like that, you got to deliver the baby.
Anytime there's a potential head injury, the medical doctors will take the athlete out of the noise and out of the light. Take him inside where it's quiet and dark. And as Dylan Gabriel's walked to the locker room.
Yeah, great observation, Q. On the return, Darius Davis, but are they going to say call for a fair catch? Must have missed that. They're going to spot it at the 10.
On the field as the receiver gave a waving signal. By rule, the play is over. It's first down, TCU.
Boy, as if Coach Dykes needed more reasons to be up in the official's grill.
Let's see it. Let's watch him the whole time. Number 11 here. Darius Davis. Yep. I don't see anything there.
No, not even close. Not even close.
Man, it seems like the refs right now are out there seeing ghosts, Mark. Like Sam Darnold?
Hey, yeah. Coach Kaz going to have to hold back Coach Dykes. They've been on the wrong end, apparently, of a couple of calls.
That's how you know your head coach is invested, man. You're up 34-17, and he's on the sideline screaming at the refs. What are you guys doing right now?
TCU doing 1st and 10 from their own 11. Duggan got down safely at the 16-yard line, picked up 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd down in a very memorable first half of football so far here in Fort Worth. Max Duggan, whose dad was a high school football coach for 30 years, really shows like he's and plays like he's the son of a coach. Great football IQ, great discernment. Blitz coming. Duggan got the screen to the right guy, Bailey, and Bailey picks up the 1st down out to the 28-yard line. Love that call, Robert. Remember, Coach Dykes was mic'd up pregame, sounding all jovial and cordial, speaking with the officials.
You're on your daddy's staff at Texas Tech.
Yeah. It's been a while. A lot younger.
Yeah. It's been a while. So I don't expect that speed coming down to that goal line.
Ain't no laughing going on now, Rob. no smiling going on now. Coach Dykes like, hey man, hey, come here. Get at me get over here real quick. Get at me real quick.
Offside with contact, number 31, defense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Tuda Salam, the referee.
Yeah, you see
this is
it
what it
right
looks
there.
like now, yeah.
The ref told him before in the pregame, hey, last time I saw you, you were on your daddy's lap. He's like, well, let me go ahead and put you on my lap and give you a disciplining right now.
Coach Kaz looking like a bodyguard out there. They set up another screen. This one well read by the defense. Darius Davis, the intended target. 2:41 to go in the first half. 2nd and 5 coming up.
You know, you're seeing Venables in the defense, or should I say defensive coordinator Ted Roof, they're dialing up more pressures. So that's why you're seeing Max Duggan and offensive coordinator Garrett Riley try to work in some more screens. Get the ball out faster, not allow these negative plays to get you behind the chains. And they're at 2nd and 5 right now, so they're doing a good job of that, but they had to complete that screen there.
They keep it on the ground and out to the 37-yard line. Broyles making the tackle on Bailey, sets up a 3rd down and about 2 to go for TCU.
And you've seen this consistently from TCU. They've been in these manageable 3rd downs, which is why they've been staying on the field, scoring a lot of points. They're not having to deal with 3rd and 11 and 12s all the time, or 3rd and 7s even, like Oklahoma's offense has.
380 yards of offense. Their 4 of 7. Here's Johnston, nowhere to go. Cut it inside and move the chains. Boy, that speed and effort. And this does not look like a auspicious spot. It's a lot closer to the marker than thought maybe it should have been. Don't give Coach Dykes another reason to blow up here.
Yeah, I was going to say that had to be a 1st down, right? I don't think anybody knows what down it is right now. They moving the chains or they're not? There we go. 1st down. Now I got to show Quentin Johnston some love there, because you don't see very many 6'4", 215-pound guys who can stop on a dime like that and get back vertical. Like they said, he's not just a vertical threat down the field. He's also a weapon with the ball in his hands. That was a nice run to get the 1st there.
Reason why he's a projected 1st-round pick. Wide open room service again. One more man, touchdown. Gunnar Henderson. 62 yards on that one. You talk about somebody hitting the snooze button on defense. I mean, Henderson was wide open. That guy was 7-11, like 24 hours a day, wide open.
Yet another coverage breakdown by Oklahoma on the back end.
His first touchdown catch of the season, end of his career, a career long, and Coach Roof trying to figure it out.
Can't wait to break that down for you when we get back.
New customers.
What he's going to do is keep his eyes inside here on number 3 through the backfield, and he just lets him go. Gunner's going to run a nice little route here.
Wow, he turned
Max
him
Duggan
loose.
is going to find him wide open. I mean, the easiest guy to throw to is the guy who's wide open on the field. And then he just cuts back across, uses a blocker to get into the end zone. I don't know about you, Mark, but I'm dugging it. You dugging it?
I'm dugging it big time. I'm dug. Out of the end zone. On the return. Farouk. And let's check in with the studio.
Park State Farm halftime report just minutes away. Kevin Nagani and Booger McFarland, in light of what we saw with Tua Tagovailoa, 2 hits in a span of 4 days. Your thoughts on what you saw on the hit on Dylan Gabriel?
Well, it's unfortunate, and thoughts and prayers go out to him. But Dylan Gabriel should not be back in that game based on everything we've seen. You talk about with Tua, keep him on the sideline, if no other reason than precaution.
And I'm glad we saw pictures of Jamoy Hodge. He was clearly shaken up, too, delivering that hit, of course, with targeting done, but he knew what he did.
Yeah, things happen so fast. It's a bang-bang play, very unfortunate.
All right, top 25 action highlights, some teams in some trouble coming your way at the break, guys.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel went into the locker room a moment ago. 2-yard gain on the play by Barnes. And Robert, guys in the studio alluded to it. Tua this week, concussed. We're not going to jump to the conclusion of the similar situation here with Gabriel, but he did appear to take a hit to the head. That's why Bevel is scrambling right now. And that pass incomplete. Tell me about the process. I mean, you've been through it. You've been evaluated for concussions before. How's that whole thing work? And what's the player think? What's the team think?
Yeah, if you're a player at all times, you're going to always choose to go back out on the field if you're given the opportunity. But that's why you have to have people in your corner, especially your head coach, who's willing to put the person before the player. So right here with Dylan Gabriel, he goes down after a hit like that, and the way that he was lifeless on the floor, on the field, you never put that guy back in the game. I had some situations like this when I was in college, and I was blessed enough to have a coach, and Art Browse, who made sure I did not go back out on the field because he cared more about my personal health than he did about the competitive advantage.
That's Bevel sacked by D. Winters, the alpha male, the voice of that defense for the Horned Frogs.
TCU takes their second charge time out of the half.
Boy, that TCU defense, Robert, we've talked about their offense and their glowing offensive numbers, but this defense has been impregnable so far this afternoon.
Yes, it has. You talk about Joe Gillespie coming over from Tulsa. He was there for 7 years, was the defensive coordinator for my offensive coordinator, Philip Montgomery, there. And he said the hardest part of him leaving Tulsa was the fact that he was leaving one of his brothers in Philip Montgomery. And you see him bring this system here. Sonny Dykes talked to us about how every time he faced Joe Gillespie at Tulsa, it was tough sledding type of day. And right now, they are showing what he told us about they got to worry about themselves. They can't worry about Oklahoma. They're coming out here flying to the ball and shutting everything down.
Third sack of the day for that Horned Frog defense. 48 seconds to go in an enduring first half that's gone for over 2 hours now on the clock. Probably feels a little longer than that if you're a Sooner fan. But if you're a Horned Frog fanatic, keep the beat going. Davis back for this punt. Tied for the career lead in punt returns in TCU history. At a school that's had some pretty famous speedsters. Here's Davis. Going to be brought down right where he caught it around the 30. There's a flag on the far side of the field at the 34 on that 45-yard punt. Let's go downstairs to Quint.
You mentioned Davis. You think back to TCU and their first African-American player on campus, a guy by the name of Lindsey Cole, who was a terrific punt returner. back in the late 60s.
Number 27, receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, TCU.
We'll finish that story when we come back. Let's check in with the studio right now.
Q, thank you for the toss there. Double box as you got Oklahoma TCU on the left side, right side, back to the Bronx. Yes Network carrying the Yankees-Orioles game right now. Aaron Judge at the plate, his second at-bat. They're already up 4-0, chasing history, sitting on home run number 61.
One and 0. Judge was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Inside. So this year, of the 61 home runs, 21 of them have come with runners on base. And Peraza's on first base with one out. He has 9 home runs this year against the Orioles. And he has 35 home runs in 79 games lifetime against the Orioles. And the 2-0. Strike, 2-1. While Stanton is homered, Higashioka has homered, and they're waiting for this man to get to 62. And 22 seasons of American League Baseball, and no player has ever hit 62 home runs, and just 2 have 61, Judge and Roger Maris. Crowd doesn't want to be bothered with any pickoffs. And he walks.
Not many options in the zone. He has to wait for a mistake. We will continue to keep you posted on Aaron Judge, sitting on 61 home runs. We'll have highlights coming up at the break.
Who almost had that pick a moment ago. Slow to get up. But what a first half for TCU, trying to snap that 8-game losing streak. An offensive explosion by the Horned Frogs. 41 points on the board against 17 for just Oklahoma. And Robert, we've gone the entire gamut of emotions when it comes to the college football experience.
Yes, you talk about the fervor in the heat of the moment as Dillon Gabriel goes down from a big hit. The concern when things go awry. The sorrow when you see a guy on the field hurt. The disbelief when you come back to your senses. The relief when he gets up and is okay. College football draws on all the emotions. It's a beautiful disaster.
Conflicting emotions. Gabriel went into the locker room, came back out now for the third quarter without his helmet. So glad that you underscored the opposite side of the emotion. Jamoy Hodge, who hit Gabriel, was visibly moved, distraught, upset at what happened, and nobody really goes out there to hurt anybody else. You played, you know, right?
Yeah, and like I said, the hit is a dirty hit because, you know, Dillon Gabriel's going to slide.
Right.
And you got to pull off as a defender there. But because of his reaction, I don't think that Jamoy Hodge is a dirty player. And that's just in the fervor, the heat of that moment. He's trying to make a play, couldn't pull off. And luckily, Dillon Gabriel seems to be okay. He's on the sideline with his helmet off right now, but he won't be coming back in the game.
Duggan hands it off on first down to Kendre Miller. The story of the first half of the football game has been this TCU offense. Miller did a bunch of the heavy lifting offensively in that first half, had 60 yards rushing. 2nd and 7.
You know, Mark, some teams would say 17 points by Oklahoma would be good in a first half, but not when the opposing team scores 41.
They haven't been able to stop the Horned Frogs. Duggan surveys and wisely throws it away. Let's go to Quint.
I stood outside in the hallway of a very solemn Oklahoma locker room. It was quiet except for one voice, and that was Brent Venables' voice. And he said to his guys, he said, right now, we're going to find out who we are. Right now, we're going to find out who wants to play. And this is a team in that first half, if you were watching, folks, there was a lot of missed tackles. There was a lot of coverage busts. Their starting quarterback, Dillon Gabriel, will not return. We will see Davis Bevel, which means they'll probably run the ball and start leaning on their offensive line. I think the second half will look entirely different from the first.
Well, adversity introduces a team to itself, and the Sooners facing that adversity right now, trying to get off the field on 3rd and 7. That pass complete to Corey Wren, but he's short of the first down. 4th down coming up. So the Sooners defensively get a 3 and out on the opening sequence of this third quarter. One of the few times Duggan in the offense hasn't been able to move the chains. Marvin Mims will go back to retrieve this punt, standing on his own 30-yard line for Oklahoma.
Mark, you talk about this TCU offense and what they've been able to do. Collectively, both teams, 90 plays in the first half, 712 yards, 58 points.
Mims calls for the fair catch at the 26, where it'll be 1st down and 10 from there for Oklahoma after that 44-yard effort. Well, here's our Saturday night football game presented by Capital One, a top 10 ACC matchup in Death Valley. Number 5 Clemson against number 10 NC State. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC, the ESPN app, while the colorful Pat McAfee hosts our ESPN2 telecast. Eric Gray in the backfield on 1st down and 10. Bevel keeps it. Not noted as a runner, not really a remarkable runner. Dylan Horton runs him down to limit the gain to a few yards. Got about 5. Can they afford to stay with the run game here?
Yes, they can. Honestly.
You really mean that?
I do mean that. I have experience in that. I'll talk to you about it after this play.
Okay. Here's Bevel out of the backfield. Little swing pass complete to the edge, and that's going to be close to the 1st down. Eric Gray made the catch. So talk to me about sticking with the run.
Yeah, when I was at Baylor, we had a bowl game against Washington, and we were down big in the 3rd quarter of that game and decided to make a full commitment to the running game because that was the only way we were getting explosive plays. We came back and won that game. So there's a chance that Oklahoma could do that here today. But they're going to have to get explosive runs. They can't keep getting these 4 and 5 yarders eating up the clock.
Winters made the tackle on that play, and that's going to be enough, though, for the 1st down by Eric Gray, the Tennessee transfer. Davis Bevel, the Pitt transfer. 6'6", 225, out of Greenville, South Carolina. There's going to be a run by Barnes, and Barnes gets out to the 39, brought down by Bradford. And that's Gray that was shaken up on the last run, their starting tailback. 2nd and 7. This is Barnes, and Barnes gets 4. It'll be 3rd and about 2. Here's a look at some of the pertinent storylines from the first half. Gabriel leaving the game following the injury, and Duggan, 9 different receivers caught passes.
Yeah, those are the ones right there, Dillon Gabriel. We want to make sure he's okay. And, of course, Max Duggan, this guy has been on fire all game long, spreading it around to everybody. TCU has to be sure that they don't take their foot off the gas here in the second half, because this game is far from over.
Bevel going to run it. Couldn't get the blocker out in front of him, and the play implodes. They'll be short of the first down. Fox and Perry in on the tackle. And Bevel slow to get up.
Oh, no.
We've already lost Dillon Gabriel, and Bevel getting up slow. Looked like he was favoring one of his arms.
Yeah, he tried to throw the stiff arm. They caught that bad boy and then drove him into the ground on his shoulders. And, I mean, if Davis Bevel goes out, I mean, we got General Booty on the sideline getting loose.
You never want to get down to QB3. Wow, what a punt. And this will carry him into the end zone, come back out. 1st and 10 from the 25, a 58-yard effort.
And there he is, out of Allen, Texas. They know their football in Allen. General Booty. Looks like he might be getting his booty out there on the field.
If he's shaking his, they might be in trouble. Back after this.
Restructured pork patty.
Provided by Goodyear, road tested and game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Great views from above this afternoon. A lustrous sky spattering down on this pristine field. Carter boys handling their business today. Horned Frogs up 41-17. Just underway here in the third quarter. Mark Jones chopping it up with Robert Griffin III. Quint Kesnick down on the field as TCU tries to end this 8-game losing streak against Oklahoma. 2nd down and 8. It's like Johnston is split wide to the top of your screen. Williams in motion. Looking Johnston's way. Duggan with a nice little fake. Hit him with a little bit of hezzy.
Hey, I didn't even know he had that in his bag. He got the little hezzy in his bag, a little basketball fake pitch. He out there trying to teach him how to Dougie. I love it.
9-yard gain. A gaping, yawning hole for Miller. And he's off. Kendre Day. That's what it is. Touchdown. "69 yards for the touchdown." There is no stopping this Horned Frogs offense this afternoon. (48-17).
And you see it right there. Kendre Miller letting everybody know this is our house. They might not have been ranked coming into this game, but just like Kendre Miller, they're running themselves right into the rankings. You better believe it's Miller time, baby.
COVID-19. His 3rd at-bat of the day. Let's go to Michael Kay in the Yes Network.
And he's walked. Swing and a miss. 0-1.
A good breaking ball, but looks like Aaron Judge was kind of in pull mode on the first pitch.
The 0-1 outside, 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-2. High slider. And the 1-2. 2-2. All right, now the story writes itself. It's 2:43 on the clock, the same time that Roger Maris hit number 61 on this date across the street at the old Yankee Stadium, and Maris's family is here. Judge at the plate, his family watching. A 2-2 count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Outside, 3-2. And the payoff, swing and a miss. Judge down on strikes.
Had a couple hittable pitches right there. We will keep you up to date from the Bronx on Aaron Judge chasing history. For now, let's go back to Mark Jones.
Aaron Judge striking out. 2nd and 10. TCU up 48-17. Sooners with the football. They're going to run it in the boundary. Man, that is form tackling by Mark Perry, the Colorado transfer, on Barnes.
Woo! We talked to defensive coordinator Joe Gillespie, and he said, my defensive guys are going to have to be versatile because the defense is versatile. And right there, Mark Perry playing in the box like a linebacker. He's going to come off the edge and get him in there.
Love that stick. Out of that 3-3-5 alignment. Coach Gillespie telling us that his team has the ability to be a very fast defense. Bevel incomplete. There was a little dysfunction at the junction there. His receiver Mims kept running downfield, and a quick 3 and out. So in comes one of the busier guys this afternoon for Oklahoma, Michael Turk, their punter, and Darius Davis going to be perched at his own 20-yard line to retrieve this punt. Already had a 58-yard punt today. That one high and way out of bounds. Going to be interesting to see where they spot this. Official still moving up, and it's going to be at about the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 from there.
But let me show you that run from the last series. You're going to see Alan Ali and the left guard build up to the linebacker, creating a hole for Kendre Miller. And then watch this man right here. Kendre Miller's going to make him do the cha-cha. Right there, he knew it just got real. And then after that, it was off to the races. And if you ain't catching Kendre Miller when he's got a lead on you like that, 3-3 just got 6.
Kind of reminded me of track star here at TCU, Raymond Stewart.
Oh.
Ronnie Baker.
Dropping names.
Kim Collins.
Oh, wow.
Got a history of speed here in Fort Worth, on and off the football field. And pass complete to Davis. Boy, Alan Ali, the center, one of the real leaders of this offense. Transfer from SMU. Played tackle both sides of the offensive line. Robert now in the middle.
Left guard, I mean. And then you got him there at center.
Doing a great job snapping that football now for TCU coming across town. That play blown up. DeMercado is going to lose a yard.
You know, Alan Ali, his namesake was known for being able to do a little bit of everything. Muhammad Ali, he had the jab, right? He had the power.
Oh, he was named after Muhammad?
He could hit you with the rope-a-dope.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, he's out there floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee. And the more you can do as an offensive lineman at the next level, they cherish that. The fact that he's played at every single spot on the offensive line is going to make a lot of offensive coordinators in the NFL and executives want him on their team.
Put some dollars in his pocket. 3rd and 13. Little receiver screen complete. A missed tackle. 2 missed tackles. Davis is going to be stopped up after about a gain of 2. So 4th down coming up for the Horned Frogs. So another 3 and out for TCU.
Makes you wonder, is TCU taking their foot off the gas pedal a little bit? Listen, it's 48-17. We understand that. But if they were to drop 60 or 70 on Oklahoma, that would really stir some things up in the Big 12.
Mims calls for the fair catch at the 33. It'll be 1st and 10 from there. We're going to take a short break. When we do, our guy Q going to be dropping a smart bomb on you. Little history when we return.
First black player at TCU. He enrolled back in 1968. He was a battering ram to the whitewashed wall of college athletics in the Southwest Conference. Great receiver and punt returner. This is a man who received death threats before coming to TCU. His friend Jerry Levias went to SMU at the same time. They were the first 2 black players in the Southwest Conference. Levias also was a great receiver and punt returner. There's some amazing stories about what these 2 men were able to overcome. Levias one time had an opponent spit in his face, only to return the next punt for a touchdown. These men persevered, and it's even hard for us in this current day and age to understand their battles.
Great point, Quinn, to think about the courage and bravery that it took to withstand such said death threats that you mentioned because of the racism that they faced. Can't overstate how courageous they were. We're going to take a short break. We have Theo Weiss injured down in the field for the Sooners. Let's go to the studio.
Mark, updating you action in the Big 12 as we continue. Sooner fans, they saw a lot of this last week. Adrian Martinez, bud.
Without a doubt, and he continues to put on a show, just running up the middle, using that speed, Kev. He is their entire offense right now.
69 yards to the house, averaging 17 yards per rush. That is Martinez. They're up by 10 at home against Texas Tech. Back to you.
Yeah, Quinn doing a great job documenting the Trailblazers at the school. The Southwest Conference. Quint, you have a little bit more, too,
Yeah,
huh?
you know, Levias, he's in the College Football Hall of Fame. He played at SMU for Hayden Fry, who was really pushing to integrate the SMU program at the time. Meanwhile, Cole, this was a guy, he was super fast. He was known for his smile. Ended up playing in the NFL for 3 or 4 years, and he was married to his wife Joyce for 43 years before passing away in 2016. But this is a man, he opened up the doors on this campus and did it with a smile.
And Q, those guys didn't just open the doors on campus. They opened the doors for guys like myself to be able to play this game at the highest level. And I'm very thankful for that.
Run around the edge. Newton pushing Barnes out of bounds.
And you know that story about Levias that Q just presented to the public really just hits me in a certain way, because we always hear people say, you know, kill him with kindness.
Right.
Turn the other cheek. But sometimes you can kill him by running a punt return back on him for a touchdown.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. Bevel goes through his progression complete to Gibson. And Gibson got hit. Abe Kamara. And we got a flag because of the subsequent activity. And there's the initial hit.
Ooh, yeah, he hit him with the hit
which was a good
stick.
one by Kamara.
But after that, you can't stand over the guy and kind of knock him down with your pelvis there. I know you like celebrations.
Yeah.
That might be a little too much.
Yeah. He tried the Muhammad Ali over Liston look, you know.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 14, TCU for taunting. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. It's first down.
Yeah, we were talking about Alon Ali, the center for TCU. His teammate there, Kamara, tried to look like Muhammad Ali, standing over Liston, asking him, "What's my name?" after that hit. 5:20 to go in the third. Sooners with a trips left formation at the bottom of your screen. And now Mims on the jet sweep fake. Bevel kept it. Got about 2 on the play. Bevel does not appear to be much of a running threat. Is that a safe assumption?
Is that the what you're quantifying from what you see on the field right now?
Yeah. We had a Sooner lineman shaking up down on the field. That's Anton Harrison, an NFL talent, 6'5", 313 pounds, out of Washington, D.C. Attrition taking its toll on the Sooners this afternoon. Back after this.
We're celebrating 50 years of Popeye's signature.
He had his guy Jaden Gibson wide open. He probably could have just popped that one up and it would have been a touchdown.
3rd and 9 coming up as a result. Walker motions out of the backfield. Bevel nowhere to throw it to, nobody to throw it to. All his receivers covered. And good pressure by Dylan Horton. Sets up a 4th down and 9 now for Oklahoma.
You know, offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby tried to give Bevel an easy completion there by running the misdirection screen, but TCU was all over it. Playing that 3 safety structure on the back end has really allowed them to play downhill football the entire game. And a lot of people didn't think that this would be able to work in the Big 12, especially stopping the run, and they've shown that they can do both.
Gillespie spent 20 years at famed Stephenville High School as a coach there. Bevel steps up and is brought down at the 34-yard line, sacked by Dominic Williams. And TCU will take over on downs. I mean, right now, TCU just beating Oklahoma like they stole something from them. 4th sack of the afternoon for the Horned Frogs defensively. And it's 1st and 10 coming back the other way.
Yeah, I mean, they did steal something from him. You know, we talked to the coaches this week, and we were informed that the last time TCU beat Oklahoma was right after they came off of a win against SMU.
Right.
Here we go. It looks like history is repeating itself, and this guy right here might need to shave that beard.
Hey, he didn't have a beard when the last time that TCU beat them. You know?
Exactly. History's repeating itself, and TCU Horned Frogs are feeling good about it.
Duggan will take off. Got a couple blockers ahead of him. Duggan pulling away and slides in at the 30. Hey, he popped that clutch, folks, and showed you he got a little get up.
Hey, Mark, you dugging it?
I'm dugging.
I'm feeling it, man.
I'm feeling
this guy is using his arm and his legs, a little fake. This is a designated run, trying to get the defense to play 11 on 11. He sets up his blocks, and then the Dragon just gets the gas going down the sideline. They don't know what to do. He said, you know what? I'm going to make it easy on you. I'm going to go ahead and slide real quick. No hits on me, baby.
1st and 10. 35-yard run by Duggan. Eludes the rush. Delivers a strike. Johnston still on his feet. Inside the 15 to the 13. 1st and goal. Horned Frogs. Johnston saying, get off of me. Dusts himself off. Picked up 17. Handed off to Miller, and Miller plows his way down to the 10.
Hey, man, it looks like TCU's trying to get to 62 before Aaron Judge.
They might hit it. They might get there first. They might get it first.
You know,
they already got 620 yards of total offense, Robert.
Oh, man.
Which kind of feels like 62 home runs.
Not even the fourth quarter yet.
Yeah. 2nd and 5. Mercado in the backfield. Gets the call and takes it down to the 7. Under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's been all Horned Frogs.
You know, Mark, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that John Hill Westbrook also paved the way. Played at Baylor, broke that color line, part of the Southwest Conference. You know, got to give him a shout out. Not just because he went to Baylor, but you know.
Salute the Pioneers.
Yes, sir.
3rd and 3. Big hole, big run down to the 2-yard line. Mercado picks up the first down. It'll be 1st and goal. Harrington's helmet came off for Oklahoma. He had to come out of the ball game for a play.
I mean, Mark, you tell me. This TCU team looks like a tough, physical outfit. I mean, these guys are owning the line of scrimmage. They're running at will, throwing the ball. The quarterback's throwing it, running it. Wide receivers are winning their one-on-one matchups. I don't know if there's been a more perfect game played so far this year. I mean, they are on fire.
Let me just say this. TCU is running through Oklahoma like a stimulus check right now, okay? And there it is. Duggan, touchdown! Last week we saw Adrian Martinez eviscerate that front of Oklahoma defensively. Duggan is doing it with his arm and his legs to the tune of over 50 points. That's his 2nd touchdown run today. And I don't think there's any looking back. Regardless of the health of the other 2 quarterbacks at TCU, this has to be Duggan's team right now.
Oh, yeah.
Without question.
Without a question. Mad Max is on a rampage right now. Okay, you don't want to be in his way. Not only is he processing the field and throwing the ball with confidence, he's also running the ball. That's their 5th rushing touchdown of the day. I mean, look at this guy. He's on fire. Just look at the color of his hair.
Yeah, he is flaming right now. Hot.
I guess if you're putting Adrian Martinez in the Hall of Fame after what he did to Oklahoma last week, where you got to put Max Duggan.
He's in that special wing of the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
He get a whole statue, right?
Behind 3 velvet ropes, you know. 1:40 to go in the third quarter. So barring a major turnaround, TCU on the verge of improving to 4-0, even though there's 1:40 to go in the third quarter. Coach Sonny Dykes said that when he first got the job, his priorities were hiring the right coaching staff, re-recruiting the current players, which is always good, and then getting out on the road and recruiting. That formula working right now to a T. On the return out to the 28-yard line, it's Jalil Farouk. And let's check in with the studio.
Mark, week 5, early window. Let's take a look around over on ESPN. Fantastic game over in the Grove. Ole Miss up 22-19 against Kentucky. Purdue up 13-10 over on ESPN2 on the road at Minnesota. ACC Network, a very good one. How about Louisville up by 2 on the road at BC? ESPN Plus has Kansas State up 36-20. Back to you.
1st and 10 Sooners, 1:34 to go in the third. Going to keep it on the ground. This is Javonte Barnes.
And we're talking about Max Duggan. He's 5th, 5 rushes for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. And you see right here, the man is bleeding. I can only imagine him saying in his own head, nobody makes me bleed my own blood. He's out for vengeance. Now it's wrapped up, and he's ready to go back and get some more touchdowns.
Nice run by Barnes out to the 38-yard line. And tough to imagine that anyone has even laid a hand on Duggan for him to bleed today.
Yeah.
He's been spectacular.
He really has. And Duggan, you know, you look at the NFL nowadays, there aren't a lot of guys that only throw the ball. A lot of them are using their legs. This is his 4th 100-yard rushing game of his career, and he's making money today.
Nice cutback by Barnes. About 2 yards shy of the first down. Hey, Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 fans. The college basketball season starts November 7th with over 50 games plus over 200 women's basketball games, soccer, volleyball matches, gymnastics, wrestling, duels, baseball, softball, as well as Big 12 Conference Championship events. If you're a Big 12 fan, you got to have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 Now. Shout out to Jamie Dixon, the head basketball coach here at TCU. Always does a phenomenal job. Had a chance to chop it up with him a few times. One of the best in the biz, and a nice tackle there right near midfield. Pardon me, at the 45 by Bud Clark. I mentioned women's basketball around the corner too. Shout out to Sophia Jones rehabbing that knee out at San Jose State University.
Yeah. Coming back better, right, Mark?
All day.
Yes,
you know
sir.
it.
We know.
3rd down and 2. "15 minutes to go. TCU in control."
October in the DFW. So hot, we need the oven mitts.
Hotter than fish grease.
TCU putting the Big 12 on high alert. Max Duggan through the air and on the ground. The Red Dragon breathing fire. Kendre Miller up the middle. Power, speed, spreading the rock. Tons and tons of receivers. I mean, they spread it out to 9, 10, 11 different guys. It's been constant from the start. Sonny Dykes in year 1. The Horned Frogs, poisonous today on offense.
Toxic, Q. Great job. Starting the 4th quarter. Bevel complete out of the backfield to Barnes. Barnes breaking a couple of tackles to pick up the first down. If you're Oklahoma, Robert, the odds are against you.
Yes.
Duh, right? What does good football look like from here until the expiration of the clock? What does a win look like if you're Oklahoma, if you're just taking it from this point on?
Yeah.
Or is there?
No, I mean,
there's no lipstick on
There's
this?
no more moral victories in football at all. But I think your point is exactly what Brent Venables was getting at halftime. We're going to find out who wants to play. Because in this moment right here, it's 55-17. You don't know. This game is, there's not a good chance that they're going to come back and win this football game. So what kind of effort do you put forth? How do you execute at the quarterback position? How hard are you running as a running back? These guys are going to have to show their coach that they can live up to the standard, and they need to finish strong.
Nice catch by Willis, the tight end, slipped out to make the catch. This week's college football rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Look at some of the big ones, and of course the huge one tonight on ABC at 7:30. NC State number 10, Clemson number 5. What else jumps off the page at you there, Robert? I'll ask you to get to it after this run by Walker. What do you think of action in the top 10?
Yeah, I mean, the games that are going on right now, you talk about this one right here between Michigan and Iowa. Michigan's up in that game. Kentucky's down right now to Ole Miss, 22-19. But this game right here, the Big 12 championship game rematch.
Hey now.
Oklahoma State and Baylor. Tune in for that one. It's going to be fireworks. We're going to see who can challenge TCU.
How about that?
In the Big 12.
So you definitely think they're a player, even though we're one game in for them, right?
Oh, they're definitely a player. I mean, they're not just winning this game. They are completely dominating, right? Boomer Sooner, that's their rally cry, and they're getting the boom right now.
First down and 10 for Oklahoma from the 27. Here's the jet sweep. Limited gain. Second down coming up.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing from offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby is he's not trying to put his quarterback in a bad situation. Yes, they know they're down big, but they're not going to drop back and throw the ball every down because that's not what they're built to do.
They take it down to the 17-yard line. That's Walker. Well, our Week 4 Monday Night Football matchup, NFC West rivalry between the Rams 49ers, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and ESPN Deportes, ESPN app. Peyton and Eli also back on ESPN2. And our coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown. Robert, you're going to be on the set doing your thing. I look forward to hearing your insights and comments on that game. Sooners pass caught. 1 yard line. What a play by Farouk. And it's 1st and goal. Bevel threw a laser that time.
Yeah, he did. It's the same play that they ran that he missed Jaden Gibson #1 on when he threw the ball in so hard. But
and there's the touchdown by Barnes. Javonte Barnes, but there's a flag down. They got up and snapped it real quick.
Looks like it's going to be a penalty on TCU.
They're running guys on the field.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside, number 13, defense lined up in the neutral zone. Illegal substitution, too many players on the field, defense. Both penalties will be declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
And here's the extra point to come. That's Barnes' 2nd touchdown today. The extra point good to make it 24 now for the Sooners.
Yeah, you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Listen, man, they had way too many guys on the field. The clicker can't even count that high.
Late for the bus right there. We got a flag down on the field at the 12-yard line.
Personal foul, face mask, number 59, kicking team.
So it's 55-24 now. Well, in an afternoon that's been all TCU, talked about the priorities as we get the call here.
Personal foul, face mask, number 59, kicking team. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. The try was successful.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll chronicle the timeline of Coach Dykes and how he set this team up for success this year. Back after this. Celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. A lustrous sky spattering down on a benevolent field. And it's been all good for TCU, 55-24. Just on the way here in the 4th quarter, Mark Jones chopping it up with Robert Griffin III. Quinn Kesnick down in the field. Kim Belton, our producer. Anthony DeMarco, our director. Seth Jacobson, our spotter. Steve LeBeau, our stat man. All part of our talented production team that you never get a chance to see in front of the camera, folks. On a great afternoon for college football, the first Saturday in October. And some games of consequence tonight, of course, on ABC with Clemson taking on North Carolina State. From the 18, Davis. And Davis brought down at the 36, an 18-yard return. We're going to take a breather. Max Duggan going to be taking the field when we come back.
Restructured Football on ABC is presented by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
Well, the Horned Frogs actually a horned lizard or toad that became the school's mascot in 1887. A committee chose the animal over cactus. The horned frog is known for shooting blood from its eyes as a defense mechanism, Robert. Duck! I am not, hey, I'm from Florida, okay? I see a lot of strange insects that can bite and poison and kill you. I'm not messing with a horned frog either.
And neither is Oklahoma today.
Yeah. Hey, facts. Sam Jackson in at quarterback. First down and 10 in relief of Max Duggan. Jackson hands it off to Bailey. And, you know, I mentioned from the state of Florida. I live in Miami, been a resident for 30 years plus now. Thoughts and prayers for restoration of the residents from South Florida, Southwest Florida, Naples, Fort Myers, Tampa, St. Pete's, Central Florida area, Northern Florida. Hurricane Ian ravaged and decimated the state through an environmental cataclysm over the last several days. Rebuilding that will take a prolonged amount of time. And great to see President Biden helping out the state and aid coming in. Robert, it took some time for both of us to get here. We're both Florida residents, and the devastation was just, I saw boats up on the sidewalk, places where they shouldn't be.
Yeah, you know, all the images that you see on social media and TV of the winds knocking over trees, houses floating down the street, all that stuff is real. You know, we drove from Orlando down to Miami to catch a flight just to get here, and that pales in comparison to the miles upon miles of highway that we saw underwater. And when you talk about the people in Florida, you're talking about over 45 people that have been pronounced dead. Thousands of people have not been accounted for at this point. Our prayers go out to the people in Naples, Fort Myers Beach.
People just being displaced, and please send aid if you can. Every little bit helps, of course, as we go back to the studio.
Mark, Robert, well said by you guys. 61 years ago, Roger Maris hit home run number 61 on this date. Aaron Judge sitting on home run number 61 so far. He's been hit by a pitch. He has walked and he has struck out, getting ready for his fourth at-bat against the Orioles. You're going to get it live as he's chasing history to become the first man to hit 62 home runs in the American League. Let's go out to Michael Kay in the Bronx, part of the YES Network.
7 runs scored. And I guess, David, some will make the case, although Aaron Boone doesn't agree, that people have not given him anything to hit. But they have certainly pitched him carefully, as if it's the 7th game of the World Series every time they face him.
Yeah, no, they're pitching him straight up and like an MVP. But notice that the Yankees scored 3 runs in the first, and Aaron Judge leading off got on base with a hit by pitch. So once again, kind of leading the charge as a leadoff hitter, whether he gets a hit or walks or gets on base by any means.
Well, for those tuning in from around the country, welcome to the YES Network as Aaron Judge takes another shot at number 62. And all rise here at the stadium for Judge's at bat. The Judge family. Spencer Watkins on the mound, and he deals. October 1st, we told you Maris hit his 61st. Also on October 1st, 90 years ago, Babe Ruth with his called shot in the World Series. And the 1-0. Now, Judge is 2 for 3 against Watkins with a home run and a double. Count 2-0. He's staying away, 3-0. Well, he obviously has the green light. And the pitch. Foul back. 3-1.
You see everything today has been away. That little cut fastball still pounding the outside part of the plate.
Watkins sets. Deals the 3-1. He walked him. Another walk to Aaron Judge.
That seems to be the theme, Michael. Yes, another walk for Aaron Judge in his 4th at bat. We will keep an eye on the situation in the Bronx. Let's go back to Mark.
All right, I think Robert Griffin III was
TCU
correct, guys,
takes their first charge time out of the
in
half.
saying that TCU was going to get to 62 before Judge. It'll only take a touchdown from here with 7:54 to go.
Appreciate that shout out, Mark.
Hey, you already know. Back after this. So we're going to stay right here with 7:54 to go. Talked about the devastation a moment ago all throughout the state of Florida because of Hurricane Ian, a historic event. Help people affected by Hurricane Ian. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN. That's redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross prepare for, respond to, and help people recover from this disaster.
You think about pro and college sports and how they can be a vehicle or a mechanism or distraction. How sports positively can distract us from hardship, how they can be entertainment. Did you see that jump ball? And when I go to Baltimore Ravens, I live in Maryland, so when I go to a Raven game, it's like one time a year. I know the unification of the city, and sports unifies cities and regions. It brings people together, and I think after what has hit South Florida and the Carolinas this week, sports are a real positive.
Yeah, it can be a real panacea for people's problems and issues. 7:46 to go. Here's the punt from Michael Turk. And they're going to spot this one way up by the 40-yard line, 41-yard line. Not a great punt by Turk. When we come back, Q will have a lot more on the star wideout, Quentin Johnston of TCU. Back after this.
Luxury exemplified. Innovation.
So let's take a look at Quentin Johnston's parents as we honor those who serve. Brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Carl and Sherry, both retired Army. Carl served in Kuwait. Sherry served in Operation Desert Storm. Temple, Texas, the Big Q.
On 1st and 10. Bailey on the run. Picked up 9, Q.
Carl and Sherry, we appreciate your service, and shout out to all our other military veterans out there, including my parents, who served this country for 37 years combined. We really appreciate you guys and know that you're not forgotten. We wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for your sacrifices.
Harmon, the
timeout on the field.
Shaken up player down to the field from Oklahoma. 7:25 to go. We'll be right back. Welcome back. 55-24 the score. Quentin Johnston, star wide receiver, first round prospect, a graphic designer as well. Look at these marvelous works of art incorporating football in his artistic impressions and talent. Look at that one right there. I'll tell you, my favorite is this next one coming up. Oh, this last one right here. And Robert, I need to commission him to do something with your man right here. Maybe get it on a shirt, big graphic. Put your boy on the front with a huge microphone.
Okay. Mark Jones, I see you.
Kind of superhero-like,
He's Quentin Johnston's showing you that he's more than an athlete.
Yep.
Right. A lot of these guys can do more than play football, as we
diverse
have
talents. Yep.
Player down on the field.
That's Harmon from Oklahoma. Here's a look at how it happened.
Yeah, you see him down. Oh.
His neck kind of snapped back there. Took a hit to the head.
Man. Praying he's okay. That didn't look great. Anytime you have your head snapped back when you're in a vulnerable position like he was there, just praying for the best.
Tell you what, watching football over the last week, Robert, and been watching the sport my entire life, since I was a kid, the violent nature of it seems a little bit more pointed of late. That's the nature of the beast, and it's a great game. There are inherent risks that have really come to the fore recently. I hope
Mark,
this young man is okay.
Yeah, the game has evolved along with technology and social media.
Yeah.
Back when you were a young lad running around, guys would play with one arm if they if they could.
Right.
But with everything that's going on in the world and everything that you see, it just becomes more visible, and people have more access to seeing these types of things. And at the end of the day, whether this was 2022 or 1960, an injury like this for Damon Harmon is something that you hate to see.
Bringing the card out for him, as you can see. Yeah, sorry, Robert. You and I were talking during halftime. The average football fan, we've got tremendous access to games, and you played, of course, but the average football fan, if he were to or she were to stand on the sidelines during a football game, they would be shocked by the violent hits that these players take on seemingly routine plays.
Oh, no doubt about it. And sometimes fans don't quite understand the humanity of it all. Damon Harmon, that's somebody's son right there.
Right.
He's got family and loved ones that are watching him right now. You see his teammates there taking a knee on the field because they understand the seriousness of this moment and the severity of it possibly. These players are people too.
Yep.
We got to make sure that we don't forget that and continue to put the person before the player.
The game sometimes becomes secondary and pales in comparison to personal health. You can see the concern etched on the countenance and faces of all the players and coaches from both teams.
Yeah, our colleague down on the field, Quint Kesenick, put it so eloquently earlier when he was talking about Hurricane Ian and how sports can be a uniting factor. If you look on the field right now, you'll see everybody in the stadium is jointly in unison in support for Damon Harmon. It doesn't matter what color you're wearing, how long your hair is. In this moment, everybody is a Damon Harmon fan.
doctors, the athletic trainers around now. They're immobilizing him, taping his head down so there's no further movement, so that his spine stays as still and straight as possible. They're going to take him off to our left in the low near tunnel, where an ambulance is waiting to take him to the hospital, which is fairly close, 2 or 3 miles away in downtown Fort Worth. It is eerily silent here. I mean, there's not a player who's talking. The coaches are, half of them are on their knees, the other half are praying or in disbelief.
Sobering moment down in the field. If you're just joining us, Damon Harmon, defensive back for the Oklahoma Sooners, injured on a play a few moments ago. Players from both teams kneeling in prayer. We would ask that whoever your higher power is, believe it is, that you would pray for a hedge of protection and restoration for Harmon as they put him onto the gurney. See Harmon moving his arm there. Anytime you can move your extremities, it's always somewhat of a positive sign towards overall health. Can't help but have a heavy heart right now.
Yeah, Mark, you never want to see something like that on a football field. It's bigger than football. It's about life and his quality of life. As you said, if anybody's going to send up a prayer, send one up for DeMond Harmon.
The time and score feeling extremely irrelevant right now. But we continue with 2nd and 1. Battle on the carry. TCU looking at improving to 4-0 on the season with a win here.
They're going to take their time here, of course, running plays, no urgency. Try to get out of here without any further injuries.
Jackson in at quarterback, hands it off. And that's Trent Battle. That's the second significant injury of the afternoon for Oklahoma. That was Harmon you saw carted off just a moment ago, and in the second quarter of the game, starting quarterback Dillon Gabriel took a shot while trying to slide at the end of a run and took a shot to the head.
Mark, those two plays exemplify why we're trying to get the head out of the game with these head and neck injuries.
Yeah, Battle on another run, and man, Robert, sometimes that's easier said than done.
It is,
you know, because of the nature of the sport. It's a great game, and it's just guess you charge it to the game sometimes. But man, that's hard. Ball on the 30, 2nd and 5. Wren in the backfield. And Wren will be stopped up short of the first down. We'll be back in 8 seconds. Now a look from Ram Trucks.
Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Four and a half minutes to go. And TCU can be very methodical now and just run the clock down. Pick up a first down here and pretty much run it out. There's the first down from Wren. Corey Wren, the Florida State transfer, who they're very excited about here at TCU. They pick up the first down, and Oklahoma with 3 timeouts remaining. But in light of some of the circumstances of late, not sure that Brent Venables will use them. Probably won't.
I think after what we've seen on the field, I would advise him not to. If you're Oklahoma as a player, seeing a brother go down like that with the game out of reach, how are you resetting and being able to truly finish strong and take those timeouts?
Right again. Hey, coming to this week on Sunday NFL Countdown, one-on-one with Jalen Hurts and Jerry Jones, and before Josh Allen faces Lamar Jackson, an inside look at how the dual-threat quarterback has changed the game, and man, has he ever changed the game. Your former teammate there.
Yes, sir.
Kick off your Sunday with NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Man, Lamar is rocking out right now, Robert. And the price of the brick has gone up.
Oh, it's gone up. Every day, yesterday's price ain't today's price, and he's doing it in a way that no one thought he could by throwing the ball from the pocket. It's been a beautiful thing to watch.
Jackson kept it himself after faking the handoff. Under 3 minutes to go. And Josh Allen, man, it was interesting to watch that Dolphins defense stymie Josh Allen and the Bills last Sunday down in South Florida. Great performance by Miami.
Yeah, a lot of people talked about the Bills and how many guys they had out, but the majority of their guys were out on defense. And it was the Bills defense that actually held that vaunted Dolphins offense to only 19 points.
Quick little receiver screen. Going to be good for a couple of yards. Under 2 minutes to go. So this will effectively end the losing streak that TCU had against Oklahoma, which got up to 8 games in a row. Sonny Dykes talked about hiring the right coaching staff when he got the job, re-recruiting his current players, which he did successfully, especially one Quentin Johnston, and then go hit the road and recruit. He talked about driving a couple of hours to Temple, Texas, 2.5 hours to where the Johnstons live, and sitting down in mom and dad's living room and reselling the program to Johnston. Nice hit, and Jackson pushed out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. And of course, Quint, with a great report a moment ago, talked about his parents' military backgrounds. And Coach Dykes was really impressed after that home visit and said, hey, mom and dad were basically, you go coach him hard, coach. Give him all you got, and we're okay with everything that happens after that.
They didn't ask for much. They just asked for their son to have a chance. Sonny Dykes didn't only go and see Quentin Johnston. He actually made about 12 stops on that trip to go see his own players, to let them know and share the vision for this program that he had for them, and meet their parents, because he talked about, as a coach, this is about being relational and building relationships with your players. And today, their goal was to show everybody that this is a new TCU. And I think this win over Oklahoma, a ranked opponent, certainly shows that.
No doubt. Sooners going to hand it off as we approach a minute to go. Got General Booty in the ball game.
Yeah.
Handed off on his first play. Duggan, meanwhile, is going to end up 22 of 33 today, 302 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ran for a couple of touchdowns. I didn't know. Somebody hit me and said that Duggan actually ran the 100 and 200 in high school, so don't sleep on his wheels. And he's been working with your guy, Coach Koss, on his speed. So you think he can fix me?
Oh, I think he can fix you. Listen, Max Duggan, state semifinalist in the 200-meter dash. Any athlete out there who's listening to us talk, play as many sports as you can and run track and field. It'll make you a better athlete. Max Duggan, the Red Dragon, is proof of just that.
That's what's up. Clock winding down. That'll do it. The final score is going to end up 55-24. Convincingly, the Horned Frogs end that odious losing streak against Oklahoma. College football scoreboard is coming up next, followed by Wake Forest and Florida State. Folks, when you hit your knees tonight, say a prayer for Damon Harmon of Oklahoma. For Quinn Kesnick and Robert Griffith III, our entire talented crew behind the camera you never get a chance to see, I'm Mark Jones saying so long from Fort Worth.
Cold case in